Hi, my name is Donna, and I wrote this little book. Who probably am looking for seeking a ghostwriter because, I think I tried and I like to expand on it. However, I'm Donna, and I'm talking about my book, Stranger on the Elevator, which I experienced in 2012. Um, it was probably maybe around March 2012. Got on the elevator on a regular work day because I like to focus. Got on the elevator, normal day, and just before the elevator closed, as I came from getting my coffee and a little, probably croissant to take upstairs to my desk, which is a beautiful desk, like automated. You walk in and air conditioner comes on for you or whatever you want it to set it at, and the light comes on, shows up for you. But anyway, I love the space. So on the elevator, just before the elevator closed, a stranger stepped in, and as soon as we locked eyes, it something just happened. I mean, just something, and we were stuck like that. It felt like an hour, but it probably was, just enough time to get to a second floor from a walkout. Under it was a beautiful setup in like I won't call it a lower level, and it was a cafeteria down there, beautiful cafeteria with the outdoor space. And I was just coming up from that position to the elevator, and when I got on, the stranger came on just to stop the elevator and locked eyes, and the elevator just disappeared. It disappeared. Okay. I was in like some kind of interesting scenario that I wanted to scream, I wanted to yell. I was trying, I think I tried. I think that's definitely my first inkling. But then something just stopped. It just stopped. It was like very slow motion. And the feeling that I had was lovingly, beautifully eased. Well, I don't know if it was eased, but I know it was. I became in that very moment. The moment was that all that mattered. Although that moment seems like for a lifetime, um, I wasn't sure if later on, as I believed, or as I learned through many YouTube videos, the the interesting aspect of the situation was kind of like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. If you saw that movie, I love movies, and that one movie, it definitely resonated with the mashed potatoes on the dining room table, creating something that you don't know what you're creating, but it's something there. And that something, kept me researching and researching and researching and studying and learning. Before that took place, prior to that incident, I was searching, but I was searching differently. It wasn't nothing like after. Before was searching, yes. And no matter what I found, I would still come back to the same spot. Like kind of like a record with a scratch in it. It just dinner, dinner, dinner until you decide to just pick up the needle and move it to another direction. Well, it just kept going. Dun, dun, dun. It's like over and over this record. However, after that scenario, the record changed. It wasn't necessarily a record anymore. I was just moved from one record player to a whole brand new record player with the brand new needle and the brand new, line. What do you call it? The plastic, uh, smooth sailing. I'm not sure how to explain it right now because I am live. I do speak in live right now until I figure out how to use this properly, this blogging properly. But if you go back to when I talked about how I quit smoking cigarettes, so that was around 2012, and I actually stopped. I'm not sure exactly when I stopped, but I also hear that people say on most of these YouTube channels, or people are talking in their perspective, but my perspective is when that spiritual awakening happened, it changed everything. That you can't. I mean, when I hear don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. Well, if you just go back to my how I quit smoking cigarettes, it's not about don't, because don't means do to me. Personally, in my perspective, don't means do. Um, I love, like I said, I love movies, and there was one 007 movie. They were speeding this boat, and it said whatever this little boat. It was a motor in the back, and he said, "Don't go between the two ships," and because the friction is going to cause the two ships to crush the little boat driving through it. So even though he said don't, you just go to the do. You just do what you don't supposed to do. I'm laughing because it's just interesting. So I know from my personal perspective, and I always talk about my personal perspective because everyone is totally different. But if you resonate with this, shout out, subscribe, like my channel, and we'll go from there. But my thing is, go back to how I quit smoking cigarettes with the intense spiritual awakening process. Even though it has to do with twin flames, the elevated thing to me, possibly a twin flame. We're still kind of friends. I think I cut everything off right now. I'm moving into some direction. Spiritually, I'm not sure where I'm going, but I know my imagination is sweet. So it can only be sweet spot because that's where I feel good about. And it's just finding that point where it all feels good. And the only way, to me, in my perspective, in my road that I have experienced since 2012, my road is designed by how I feel. And I feel good about me, all of me. I have to learn through, like, if you go back to the cigarette smoking process, you have to learn I had to embrace and be the biggest thing, I think the largest thing to me is being aware of what I'm feeling at the time that I'm feeling it. Anytime that I want something, anytime I desire something outside myself, everything and anything. And then once you focus on everything and anything inside yourself, once you ask one little tiny question, it becomes you will see. You will see because you're asking for it. So, okay, you want to see it? All right, here it comes. Like, okay, one example, I had a dream one night, or there's a couple nights it was so real and inspiring that we were on the grass. I was on the grass, beautiful landscape, like a grassy mountainous view. And someone was there who was much taller, much taller. And they said, "Are you ready?" And I said, "Yeah, I think so." They said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Oh, yeah, I think so." And they said, "Okay, here we go." So they lift me up, threw me in the air. Just not very far, but enough to like get me like, "Oh, what the?" But it was safe. I felt safe. And as I came down, they gently put me down back on the grass. my feet comfortable on the ground. I'm looking up. I mean, it was so far up, so I can't describe who or what it was, but it was learning. I was learning something. I'm not sure what it was, but I was learning something, and it felt pretty good and comfortable. And then they said the next dream, maybe months later, I'm not sure how long, they said, "Are you ready?" I said, "Okay, I'm ready." I was thinking about the last position that I was in when they threw me up, and kind of a little bit of fear, but then I came down safely. So I had a little bit more trust. So in this trust, I decided, okay, they said, "Are you ready?" I said, "Yes, okay," reluctantly, but yet sure that I could do it, and then sure, almost kind of sure that I could trust this person who's doing this. And so I said, "Sure, I'm ready." So then they gently threw me up in the air a bit higher than the last dream, a little bit higher, which kind of evolutionized my spiritual awakening process, so to speak. This is just an example. But the dream is real. So then it may took, I'm not sure how many dreams it took, but it doesn't really matter how many dreams it takes. It only matters that moment that you learned how to awaken just a little bit past your comfort zone. And so my whole point is to this conversation is that I truly believe, if in my perspective, if we just go within, be aware of what our body, sometimes our body tells a lot of it really is truthful to you. I'm learning, just by learning how to quit smoking cigarettes, how I slowly, can be aware of me going towards the cigarette, to slowly me be aware of me lighting um you know the match, whatever it is. I am an introvert, so this is probably taking me a minute, but if you last all the way through, you may get something out of it, and hopefully um, we can go from there. But without further ado, I just wanted to say thank you for listening all the way through. If you have, thank you for liking and subscribing to my channel. I don't put my picture up right now. I used to a lot. So I'm kind of shy at the moment. I'm learning how to um, just speak right now. And then, but you can see me at Stranger on the Elevator. It's an Amazon ebook. Like, subscribe, and until I keep learning and hopefully sharing with you as much as I can. Um, I look forward to our process. Thank you again. Namaste. Hey guys, I do realize I'm pretty cryptic, so I may skip around a little here and there in my conversations, but your questions or comments are always welcome. Generally, always welcome. Just be nice. So I look forward to you asking any questions you need to learn more about, and I will be happy to expand on it on our next video session. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Namaste.